Let me tell you something. The practice of tithing has not been a church's invention. As well as the Sabbath, it has been established by God Himself, and it is practiced by all those who recognize Him as the Creator and Provider, and who accept the Bible as His Word. It was by Jesus Christ Himself, who gave His life for the life of the world, that this plan was devised. Abraham paid tithe long before the establishment of the Jewish nation, because instead of being a Jewish institution, tithe was planned to be a blessing to the whole of humanity. When alone, far from home, and with no material support, Jacob also promised to God, "Of all that you give me, I will surely give a tenth to you." As the Israelites were about to be established as a nation, the law of tithing was reaffirmed. "And all tithe of the land is the Lord's. It is holy unto the Lord. And concerning tithe of the herd or the flock, of whatever passes under the rod, the 10th one shall be holy unto the Lord." But how can I know if tithes should really be 10% of all the income or increase? Can I return a different percentage as tithe? Should I return it from my salary only? What about the other incomes? Good questions. The very word tithe is a translation from the Hebrew word maaser, which means a tenth or 10%, which is the same. So, as any percentage different from that cannot be called tithe, it is very important for the believer to regularly verify all the income or increase from any source, recognize it as coming from God, and calculate the exact amount that represents 1/10 of the blessing. Let us follow Solomon's invitation. Honor the Lord with your possessions and with the first fruits of all your increase, so your barns will be filled with plenty, and your vats will overflow with new wine.
But there is no sunshine, nothing but clouds, and it's dark in my heart, and it feels like a cold night. Today's a new day, but where are my blue skies? Where is the love and the joy that you promised me? Tell me it's alright. I almost gave up, but a power that I can't explain fell from heaven like a shower now. I smile, even though it hurts me, I smile. I know God is working, so I smile. Even though I've been here for a while, I smile, smile. It's so hard to look up when you've been down. Sure would hate to see you give up now. You look so much better when you smile, so smile. Today's a new day, but there is no sunshine, nothing but clouds, and it's dark in my heart, and it feels like a cold night. Today's a new day. Tell me, where are the blue skies? Where is the love and the joy that you promised me? Tell me it's alright. I almost gave up, but a power that I can't explain fell from heaven like a shower now. Right now, I smile, even though it hurts me, I smile. I know God is working, so I smile. Even though I've been here for a while, I smile, smile. It's so hard to look up when you've been down. Sure would hate to see you give up now. You look so much better when you smile. Smile for me. Can you just smile for me? oh. You look so much better when you oh. You look so much better when you oh. You look so much better when you oh. You look so much better when I almost gave up, but a power that I can't explain fell from heaven like a shower now, right now. I smile, even though it hurts, see I smile. I know God is working, so I smile. Even though I've been here for a while, I smile, smile. It's so hard to look up when you've been down. Sure would hate to see you give up now. You look so much better when you smile. Oh. You look so much better when you 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 smile.
Okay, question 1. What are your challenges that you faced during COVID? Woo. I'd love to say that I had no challenges, but I would be a complete and utter liar. My ultimate challenge was homeschooling and working from home. So I always work from home, so that's no issue for me. But I also have a schedule that I have for my younger two that stay home with me. So they have their own sort of set program. I do my work and have my set plan. And when the news came that kids were going to be homeschooled, everything kind of just went out the window. So I remember that day I had to go and pick up all their packs from school, and I was really pumped. Actually, I was so like, yeah, let's do this, let's go. So I got to school and I was like, oh cool, the kids get a folder. And I left the car park and I'm going in to collect my kids' stuff, and then I get a folder, a package, and a booklet, and all these books, and that's just for one student. And then I leave that room with so much stuff, and then it just completely overwhelmed me. I got to the car park to get back to my car, and I just had a mental breakdown, like a real legit meltdown in the car park. And Shawnee, bless you, Shawnee was there in the car park, and she's like talking to me, trying to help me process everything that's going on, and it's not as bad as we think, and and I'm like, oh, woe is me, and I'm just a mess. And I think
The biggest challenge for me has been the distance between myself and my family. They are mostly in New South Wales or overseas in New Zealand, so missing them has been, missing out on events with them has been pretty tough, and not really having a choice has been pretty hard.
Hi family. Okay, so 4 questions I need to answer here. What were some of the challenges you faced during COVID? Ooh, good question. I think there's 2 that stick out to me the most. Number 1, in my workplace as a teacher, we had to very quickly go into remote learning, and that holiday was spent, preparing and planning and getting our heads around remote learning, supporting other staff members who needed our help during that time. So yeah, that was pretty stressful. That was a challenge. And probably the second challenge was just the having families in different states. My siblings, my parents, not being able to see them. I got to see them once this year, which was thankfully awesome, but not to be able to travel regularly home to check on my parents, to catch up with my siblings, to be separated from my son. Yeah, that was really, really tough. So that's certainly where the big challenges for me.
Hi everyone, good morning and good afternoon. My name is Orfera, so I'm from the Harvest family, and I've got some questions that I'll be answering for you this afternoon. So let's get into it. What were some of the challenges you faced during COVID? I think, and I had to write it down, yes. I think the best example would be working from home. The challenges were trying to adjust from an office space where you're going to have so many people, everyone's vocal, you got so much support system there on the spot, to coming at home and working within your four walls by yourself. When you have any issues, we had to wait for a bit because it was hard to get through to the support team and our team leader, because there's always something going on in the office. So I think it was hard for me to adjust. I mean, I've settled in really well now and I love working from home, but I think the adjustment to, after a couple of months, put a toll on me mentally and emotionally as well. So those were my challenges.
Our biggest challenge we would have faced was pulling out our daughter from daycare full time, just due to her own respiratory history, and also having to have, family and everyone stay away just with the whole pandemic. Anything else?
So I'm a visual person. I get home and I've put everything on our windows. I've got the liquid chalk out and I've written every single schedule, everything for the week on every single window. And then my oldest comes downstairs and she's like, Mum, are you okay? She's looking at all the stuff on the windows and like, I don't draw on windows. Everything's always usually clean and we wipe down after ourselves. So she's like seeing all the stuff that I have done on the windows. And I'm like, yeah, I'm just trying to figure this out. And then she realizes, oh, it's our timetable. And then she's, Mum, do you realize that we have form class in the morning? You've kind of missed form class. We always do prayer in the morning. And I'm like completely taken back going, what? How could I have done that? God impacted me in a big way that day. I did the whole Whiapoko thing and I was just leaning on my own understanding. And from that point on, it was always, Lord, you need to help me. This is what I'm doing. This is what I'm trying to figure out. Help me, give me the wisdom to work through this and just clarity, show me the way forward. And from that.
So many people that we talk to from all over the place talk about COVID teaching them that they needed to slow down and just enjoy life and take time for the small things. And so that's been a really good lesson for us. Has actually we've just been shown we need to slow down and just enjoy one another, enjoy family, enjoy our kids, and just make the most of the time that we have together.
Second question, how did God impact you during COVID? Oh my goodness, when does God not impact me? I think COVID was a forced opportunity to be still, to slow down. And it was a real opportunity for me to declutter, not just declutter my home, but declutter my life, to really reevaluate, to reset, and to realign myself with God. Because slowing down and being still has kind of allowed me to hear him more and be in his presence more. So he has certainly impacted my life, particularly this year, in a huge way.
And that's for the first question. The second question is, how has God impacted you during COVID? How has God impacted you during COVID? I think with that question, I had to really think about it, because I did struggle after a couple of months still at home. And it's so hard for me to give God the reins, where I'm so used to controlling what I can and can't do, especially with work. And I think, when you have so many things happening that you can't control, with stress, with my worries, with insecurities, whether I'm going to have my job or whether I'm going to lose it, with everything that's just been going on, it just weighs on you so much, that when I realized what the meaning of was, when you give it to God, you're supposed to put it to his feet and pray about it and give it to him to take control of. And that part for him to take control of, and for me not to think about and worry about, I think that was what I struggled with. But I could see over time that God did impact me in so many ways, and because I finally let go of a lot of stress and worries and stuff, I was able to feel his presence and feel so much weight lifted over time. So that was me for question 2 during the COVID.
Question 2, God's impacted us.
How has God impacted? It's allowed us to trust him more.
He's shown us that we can survive, even when things hit us. We're pretty strong. He's created us to withstand, all sorts of stuff, and given us the knowledge. And I think Australia's done a good job to prevent COVID from taking too many lives.
Moving into COVID, the whole transition, God showed my husband and I a whole new way to parent. And I can tell you now, I get really teary about it, because Mika and I are the kind of parents like kasi upule dua. And I know it sounds really harsh, but it's not. It's just, we just want the best for our kids, and we're always trying to get them to, listen to us, to really listen to us. But it's the listening to them part that we kind of didn't do enough of. And I feel like we showed more grace and less talking and more listening. And that's something that has really impacted our family and has changed just the dynamic of how we parent and how we look at life in general.
I have been shown during COVID that I need to spend more time with my kids and less time complaining about them.
Sorry. What has God shown you to do more of or less of? Okay. He has taught me to worry less and have more joy. Less busyness, more stillness, less stress, more rest. I think it's certainly also to make more room for the things that really matter. Families, connection, time with God, all those things that we take for granted.
What has God shown you to do more of and less of? I think during this period, I feel God has showing me to be self-care, give myself time to look after myself. And sometimes we forget to do that, because you're so worried about your family, you're worried about your job, you're worried about friends, that you forget to do what we're here for. And I think to do more of, I think he's shown me in so many ways that I need to really look after myself, because I wouldn't be going to the doctors all the time. And I think if we want to take care of others, I think we really need to take care of ourselves. And I think God has shown that definitely to me during this COVID time. And I haven't really looked at my phone as much. I think probably I've kind of dialed it down, spend more time with my family, and my sister's always knocking on my door, come out, hang out, because you get zoned out. And so less of the technology stuff and more of family time, friends time. And I think that's more important than anything right now.
Number 3.
What has God shown you to do more and less of stressing over irrelevant things, materialistic things,
And more of spending time with those that matter. I guess we got to learn each other more.
a lot more zooming.
A lot more zooming, a lot more. I guess we kind of brought us as a family together a lot more, because instead of waiting for who's going to visit who, we'd all just call each other a lot more often, just to check up on everyone and see how everyone's doing. And it was just weird. There was a space there where we couldn't visit anyone, and we were just stuck with our own households. So yeah, showing us what's important.
Christ the rock, I set my feet upon. Your name, my hiding place in every storm. You're sovereign, every need. All of my
what good has come out of this year for your family, for you and your family? Oh, my daughter, number 3, she got baptized. She chose to follow Jesus, and that was earlier this month. And I can't believe she made that decision, but this is how awesome our God is, because there was no church, there was no programs, there was no, big event to help just get that, get those juices flowing, to help them spiritually. This was all through things that we were doing at home church, and I know I'm pushing home a lot, because our home had to change to allow God to work in our space. And I think that whole reliance on God during COVID, it's just been gold for us, because I have seen things just go from strength to strength, and surrounding our kids with, people that just love God, that really have that authentic love for God, and just through the actions, the things that they do, the things that they say, and how they, it's what they're imparting onto our kids. It's all of that. I think it really helped our daughter make that decision, to follow Christ. So it's something that Mika and I we really, really, really want to leave for our kids, is that they, have a real relationship with God, that they really give Him all their burdens, all their worries, all their cares, and all their praise. Because despite COVID, we've got so many things to be thankful and grateful for. Thank you for listening.
What good has come out of this year for you and your family? I like this one. I think for me, the value of connection and being with family, that's been something that's been important to me. The value of health, and it's been a really great time and space for me to, as I said before, reevaluate my principles or values of life. I think some of them were a little bit distorted, and I've had to learn to let some things go and really focus on the things in my life that I really want to value and grow and nurture. Hopefully that makes sense. And I guess too, my love story is clearly by far the best COVID love and lockdown story ever. It's been an awesome year for me, because I've met my partner in life, and we've had a lot of challenges this year, but I wouldn't want to do them with anybody else. And it was our anniversary yesterday, so happy anniversary, babe. Love you. Bye.
And the last question is, what good has come out of this year for you and your family? I think my family has been through a lot this year, and I think with a lot of you guys as well, you have been through your own journeys, challenges as well. With my family, medically, we haven't been looking after ourselves well, and I think God has really shown that in so many ways to us. And we've always had to remind each other, my siblings, my parents, and our nephews and niece, and I just say, we always remind ourselves we need to take care of ourselves so that we can take care of everyone, of our family, the rest of our family. And I think that's important, and I think that's the good out of this year that I can think of, is that during this COVID, we've really seen God move in so many ways, spiritually, within our own journeys, with my siblings and I, and my parents and the kids. I think for us to dive in and to have that prayer connection every single day really helps. And continue to surround yourself with your friends and your family. That's really, really important, because if we don't have that communication and connection with people, we lose ourselves again, and we isolate and we go into that little bubble that we're trying to get out of. So that's what the good is that we've learnt as a family, is to self-care. So thank you.
What matters?
Question 4. What good has come out of this year for you and your family?
We ate well.
Very well. As you can tell. We're still here.
Still here.
And there wasn't, much sad news for any of our families or friends.
Also, that we don't just need the church. We don't need a church to still stay united. Like, we're all still connected online, on phone.
On social media.
Yeah, on social media.
Yeah, it's kind of really...
Even with our kids and Pathfinders, they were still able to
graduate
and get through things.
So it really shows how awesome, we are when we're limited to things. We kind of think outside the box.
Improvise.
And we improvise. And stronger together.
Strong as one.
The power of one.
The power of wallabies. What good has come is the wallabies won.
Yeah, one.
Thank you.
All right, see you on.
The irony of this question is that one thing that God has shown me during COVID is actually that I have a bigger community than I thought I did. And it's interesting because we've been mostly in lockdown or not unable to go be social. But that's left me with no option other than to find online communities. And I found an amazing sisterhood. I found church community that I really love and can give back to. And so even though we've had the challenge of not being able to see people in person, God's actually challenged me because he said, hey, you don't have to go to a place to see me, to meet me. You don't have to go to a place to worship me. You can worship me from home. You can worship me any time of the day or night. And that's been a wonderful lesson to be reminded of.